strategy is, when we kind of looked at what was on the capital plan and how much it was averaging out per year. First thing we looked at is what the grants that were available, and a lot of the grants were only available in the short windows, so we wanted to take advantage of those grants for the roads, the bridges and the culverts, and sidewalks. That was at 7.3 million that we looked at a minute ago. And the other part of the strategy was to level out future capital planning needs. If some of this is funded now, it kind of takes it off the schedule for a period of time so that it's a little bit more manageable. Also, at the Public Works, there's a considerable number of their vehicles are over useful life and then incurring significant maintenance costs. And in order to level out future replacement schedule to a more affordable level, we want to fund some of those vehicles, so that will allow us to kind of get on a more normalized plan to replace and keep the equipment in condition we wanted, and we want to continue to improve the condition of the roads. All right, in this one, unfortunately, I didn't process all the information correctly. So in addition to a couple of projects that were bonded, we want to transfer that money and put it towards, so this would be a transfer request, a resolution. But the 260,000s, I didn't have the right beginning project cost for those, so it's really be a 300,000 transfer from the radio system replacement to the rescue truck, which will fund about 1/3 of that truck, which is due to be replaced in 2023. So the resolution will have the right numbers, but this really is a $300,000 number instead of the 420. Was there anything important on that last slide? All right, so again, looking at the strategy, if you look at the capital plan, and because of the financing aspects, this was left this way specifically. So based upon the requests, in 2021, the requests were 1.9 million. In 2022, 1.7. In 2023, they were about 1.2 million. And looking at what those are, it's the fire trucks and public work vehicles, about 3.2 million of that. Building repairs, about 600, and other requests, about 900. So again, this was part of the strategy. I think we solved everything with the proposed bond issue, but we still have some work to do as far as addressing those numbers. But the average request going out from 2024 to 2029 is 676,000, which is a pretty reasonable number. So for the next 3 years, we still have to do some work and figure out how we're going to fund these or what the strategy is. But this again, that's assuming that the bond issue passes, and we're taking that out of the equation, that we will be able to get to, subject to additional projects, again excluding roads, a more manageable capital replacement. And again, a lot of time is spent on this. To thank everybody, Board of Selectmen, Board of Finance members, capital planning, the finance department, other town departments. They kind of spend a lot of time trying to, pull this document together. And those are the highlights. Be happy to answer any questions collectively.
Joe Bishop, on this last slide, you showed the capital plan. Are you saying that the bond will pay the 7 million plus will only cover until 2023? And then we're going to have 600 something thousand dollars coming out?
I get that slide saying even after the bond issue, we still have that $4 million in the next 3 years of requests. Again, we can't always fund all the requests, but
it won't be funded by that bond.
it will not. So
my comment here is that you're going to be borrowing $7 million that we're going to pay maybe in 20 years. 40 years, it'll be 20, so we'll be carrying a interest in bond payment for, I don't know, 17 years after this, and we still have that to pay.
So that, we still have more roads to do. I mean, that's unfortunately just the nature of the time. And we have a compression, like, you know, we get the rescue vehicle and 2 fire trucks, and because we didn't replace them on schedule, now that's more than half of what that is. So unfortunately, the only way to get ahead of that is to borrow or not replace. So this is a strategy to get there. If we have other funding sources, then that can be adjusted. But right now, there's no way we can fund this on a pay-as-you-go basis anymore and actually replace all these things on schedule.
Couple of things. Thanks for the presentation and for the board finances work on this. One suggestion is to maybe double check figures on the budget before it's printed. There were numerous errors that were put out in print, hard copy form, and then online as well. So it's tough to get a budget the day of that's different than what people have been meeting over 5 days. So it also saves on printing costs as well. So that would be helpful. I understand we don't know what the legislature is going to do with all of the state grants and funding. I'm just curious why, and I know you did this last year too, why you wouldn't want to put that in the other ECS and those grants and funding from the state.
Just for the reason it's unreliable.
But even ECS is unreliable. I just think it should be like a placeholder for these funds, or these funding mechanisms from the state. Pilot, TAR money, but that's just my suggestion, because I think it's helpful for the people to see that. And you did address it a little bit. You said with our spending, or with our new mechanism for interest rates, you have it scheduled to double. I'm just curious, like, what the new mechanism is for our interest rate to double.
I'm just looking at what interest was last year, so I don't know the answer to that.
Okay, so interest rates have doubled since last year?
Interest income has.
Okay, all right. And building permit fees also, you have increased by 60%. I know we increased fees, that was like 2 or 3 years ago. I'm just curious if there's something big coming online that the board knows about for a project. I know the Eversource substation had fees associated with that project is pretty much done. I'm just curious what the 60% increase would be for. And I also don't know, it would be helpful to have some actual expenses in the budget maybe next year, but I don't know where we're at now this year for building permit fees, but that 60% is quite a large increase. Anybody here for land use want to answer that? Okay. Senior van driver hours were cut from 35 hours to 10 hours a week, yet the budget remains the same. This, and actually fuel has also gone up. So I'm just curious if the board wanted to address that issue. Nobody knows? Oh,
Actually, not official, but I talked to the chairperson of the Committee on Aging yesterday at another meeting, and they said that they're still looking for a full-time driver.
So, interesting. So the town, and again, this is all outside of the Board of Selectmen. That's another issue. But the town just changed from a full-time senior van driver to a 10-hour a week. They just posted the position. And now they're back up to a full-time driver?
I can't respond to that.
Yeah, okay. That's just what we've heard. Has any of the other board members heard of any of this? Has the first selectman told you anything? Okay, interesting. I think that is it. Thank you.
Yes, hi. Mary Jean Conrad, I'm trustee for the library, and I've met most of you before. Is it possible to add to the capital long-term plan? I know we did put in a request, and we, of course, never heard any response to that, but I'm just hoping that within the next 10 or 20 years, we may have some of those needs addressed? In other words, is this cast in stone when we go for the bonding? Is it only for roads and so on?
Yeah, I mean, what we're presenting tonight is what the Board of Finance approved.
So that means that there's no more capital funding available during this time period?
Well, the projects that we approved are for 2020, so again, the capital plan going forward, that's what remains to be, reviewed next year.
Okay, all right, thank you.
I just like, through the chair, I just like to respond to that as well. There's always, you can always add money to the capital plan. Just come back next year, ask the Board of Finance, Board of Selectmen again for more funding for the library. They can always add. The town meeting can't add money, so now would be the time to reinstate your request for anything you want from the library, because at the town meeting, the residents can't add money to the budget. So before it's baked, you can ask now.
My concern was like 10 years moving out when I saw these for the bonding issue.
Keep asking.
Okay.
Hi, so my name is Lori Ludifer. I'm the new Executive Director for Youth Services, and I apologize that I have not met you all before this. It seems like a weird forum to come before people that don't know me and ask that you reconsider the budget that was set aside for Youth Services. At the same time, I appreciate that you didn't cut the budget for Youth Services, but I just wanted to give you just frame a little bit about why I'm asking for a reconsideration. We are in process of entering our last year of fairly significant grant funding. And in June of 2020, the grant funding, which is about a little more than a third of our budget, is going to sunset. We have very old computer equipment. We're investing in a server. There's all kinds of things going on that perhaps should have been addressed over the years, but have not been addressed over the years. I'm new as of September, and our staff is relatively new over within the last year. We are an organization that leverage every dollar that we're given. We turn into programming or education or resources for the schools, for the town, and have a history, at least since I've been there, of never saying no. But I don't know how we're going to survive the way we've been surviving unless we get a little bit more resources to get us over the hump. I will be writing grants next year to try to get funding, but we're going to lose our money before we know if we can get additional money. We are looking at cutting staff hours this summer just to have a little bit more padding. We're bringing in an auditor for the first time, so we're going to have a fiscal audit for the first time, so we'll actually have the numbers to sort of, moving forward, tell you exactly where we are and make the changes that we need to make. But the organization does amazing work, and the town has been incredibly embracing and accepting, and when we ask for help, we've gotten it. But we need a little bit more support than it looks like, at least on paper, that we're getting. So none of us are in this for us. We're in this for these kids and the community of these kids, and the ability of this community to do for the kids that live here is extraordinary. I want to make sure that we can continue to do that over time. But we're entering this period where I may need a little bit of help to get there. So, and at the same time, I guess I'll close with this. The state is asking us to do things. We've had several unfunded mandates, so we are required to do things as a youth service bureau, which we are happy to do and which we do well. But there's no money that comes from the state, as you all know. The budget is unsure. So that's why I'm here. So again, I apologize for meeting you and then asking for something. I wish that I should have gotten to know you all a little bit better so you know who I am. But that's one piece. So thank you.
Just so I understand clearly, though, it sounds like your big concern is not for the year coming up, but for the year following.
Yeah,
right?
so what I'm looking for, I'm hoping that we'll have a little bit of padding because the grants will go away. I will apply for additional grants. We won't know if we get them. So we don't have a reserve. We'd like to develop a little bit of reserve, like any business. We're a 501c3, we're not part of the municipality, we're not part of the school. So I'm trying to develop some reserve so that if the state doesn't know what they're doing and we get none of the grant money right away, we have something to fall back on to make payroll. And I can promise you that if we do get the funding that I'm hoping we'll get, we would give back to the towns. We're asking for money to get us through, and then hopefully to grow. But if by some miracle we are funded, I would happily turn around and give you back the difference. But anyway, that's my piece.
Mr. Chairman, may I respond? I feel more responsible than anyone, probably, for any of the budget cuts, and let me tell you why. A number of organizations that have gotten monies from our treasury, and they didn't use them all during that year. They never returned any money, they just kept piling it up in a reserve. Now, the state of Connecticut would love to have a 15% reserve. I understand last time I heard that they're up to 11 now, so they're heading in the right direction. The Board of Finance does have a 15% reserve, which is, makes it better when we go to a bond market for interest rates. And I only speak for myself, but I asked all of the organizations and departments getting money from the town that they follow our lead and not have more than a 15% of their budget in reserve. Knowing that if you don't meet payroll for 1 month, and I'd be the first to support a special board finance meeting to get you more money out of our contingency fund. But that's why we have a contingency fund, but we've never been called on it, basically, to be used because everyone's built up their own little cash flow. And so if you're here to say that you have no more than 15% of your budget in reserve, then I'm willing to discuss further.
Yeah. And I'm not ready to say that right now.
Okay.
Part of our difficulty is...
But that's where I'm coming from, personally.
We receive grant funding, and we must use the grant funding in that year. So I don't have the sort of the luxury of waiting for the price to come down, let's say in September, for something that we need to buy because the grant dollars disappear if we don't spend it. I mean, in the nonprofit world, like a 3 to 6 month reserve is sort of what is best practice. So,
In your estimation, would 15% of your budget be a reasonable reserve, or do you need more?
you know,
If-
we could probably survive, but we would start.
So knowing that we're here behind you.
If I were to go ahead and purchase we're going to do this audit, we're changing IT companies, we're changing our website, we're doing everything to sort of reduce our costs. Let me get to it will be too late for this year perhaps, but let me get to the end of June and answer that question. Our fiscal year ends June 30th, as yours does, and we'll see. There's not much fat, but we also haven't made any expenditure. We haven't spent money. I'm scared to sort of buy the computer that we need. I'm scared to get the new server. We don't know I don't know what's going to come up. I would like very much to work more closely with this board and with the people and folks in Killingworth as well, and maybe ask somebody from the board to become part of our strategic planning process so we can figure out what is fair. Because frankly, we don't really have the expertise on our board. Pardon?
I don't think we have that.
Well, we don't. So, but I would be thrilled to work with you and have a more concrete answer for you. I'm a little embarrassed that I don't know that answer, but I don't.
Thank you very much. And please know that we really do appreciate your efforts and what you do for us. Thank you.
Yeah, I have a question. Looks like you asked for a little over $11,000 increase in the budget. Would that cover the server and computers?
Yes. Well, yes. And the increase, and actually I know it was a big increase, I realize it was big. Part of it was, so our treasurer and our board tried to frame our ask of Haddam, sort of comparing it to what Killingworth has given us over the years. So there was a period of years where it was flat here, and they increased their funding, so it was trying to create parity between the two towns, because we asked based on population, so that's what that was. But yes.
If you would be so kind as to forward that information on the reserve, I'd really appreciate it.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
I would like to know what Killingworth brings to the table for youth and family services, and if Haddam is at that same level.
This year, well, I don't know, they haven't, the budget isn't formalized yet, but this year, they kept in our ask this year, so the two towns will be very, will be close, the amount will be very close.
At the $11,000 mark for Haddam? Is that-
No, where we are now for having and what we anticipate getting from.
Right now, we're funded at about 87,000.
500.
That's the total amount, or is that just?
No, that's what Adam has given us.
First, a positive comment. It's refreshing to see that an effort was made to keep the spending on one side and the revenues, you get very clear. And the bottom line is the same, but at least it's somewhat clear. So that's a positive. Returning again to the capital budget, I kind of miss the columns about giving every year what we need. Over a long year, 10 years. Because if I look at what is proposed here, it looks like you're asking to spend $7,582 in 1 year, which I'm sure is not going to happen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 trucks, 3 transformers for roads. I think the logistics should be that every year we should know what we're going to be spending. I don't know about the radios. The fire department can spend $800,000 in 1 year for radios. So if we go for a bond this year, it's going to, obviously it's going to be of interest and everything we're going to carry. We might even want to do sidewalks in Haddam Center for 2 years because we're doing sidewalks in Tyler. So I think this column of $7,500,000 that we're going to get up front, it's not going to be spent in 1 year. And that's, to me, is money that's being wasted because we're obviously going to pay interest on that. And we don't know when the other items are going to be pulled out of the roads. We know this is $4 million next year as well. So I think going back to the plan and say, yes, this year we're going to need $1 million for the roads, next year another $1 million. My maybe run down that bond amount less than what it is right now, because we're going to be carrying money, and it's going to be interest on money, we're going to be paying interest. That's my comment on that. I would like to see that table. Thank you.
I just want to say, as a taxpayer, I would be happy to see more money go to youth and family services, especially if they're trying to rebuild their IT base. And I know that I served on a coalition years and years ago, and I know how tight that is. And I know it goes through a lot of holding their breath to get things done. And if it's at a point where, I know a lot of nonprofits struggle, and if we can help get them over the hump with the computer system or what they need to be functioning in 2019. So since this is a hearing, I would say I'm in favor of giving them what they're asking for.
I'll look at the plan, but still, we can still get $7,500,000.
a question, Scott. The radio system, it's not just so people know, it's not just buying new radios, it's actual towers, the whole system.
Yes, yep, it's the infrastructure, which what we have now was obtained mostly, not all, but mostly through grants in 2003 and 2004.
So it's very really not just buying a whole system, which would take some time, but you could actually install it in a year and spend that $800,000 a year to install the system. Middletown, police department, and their work service, just want to do the same thing right now. It's a costly venture.
Thank you very much for coming out.